Finish school. What now? What career should I take up? What points do I need to consider? What do I want? Which occupation offers me good opportunities for the future? Vocational education and training in Germany assures the future of young people and of our society. Vocational education and training in Germany can look back on a long tradition. Dual training takes place at vocational schools and in companies, and is the best way of preparing young people for the occupations they will pursue in future and of integrating them into society. What are the defining features of vocational training in Germany? The strengths of the German VET system can be characterized in terms of 5 attributes. The state, private sector, and its social partners work together to ensure the general conditions under which vocational education and training can take place, such as funding, the development of curricula, implementation, and certification. This is a fine example of public-private partnership.
In-company training takes place in a way which is highly relevant to business operations and to the economy in general, fostering skills which can then be utilized within the production process. The task of the vocational school, on the other hand, is more geared towards preparing young people for life in society. All of this means that our main focus is education, the main emphasis of the in-company components of training being to teach skills.
The aim of German vocational training is to impart a broad array of employability skills. The best way of achieving this objective is via dual learning in companies and at vocational schools. Such an approach fosters social and personal competence as well as knowledge and skills.
I think the major benefit of training here in Germany is that trade and industry are on board from the very start. The main aim of our training is to generate our own up-and-coming talent. We view training as an essential pillar of human resources development, and for this reason, apprentices at our company have an extremely good chance of obtaining permanent employment on completion of their training.
The advantage for companies is that new people are able to adapt themselves to the company during their apprenticeship, rather than merely acquiring technical knowledge.
The most valuable employee for a company is someone who can move from a purely theoretical situation to one which combines theory and practice and then be integrated into the practical side of things.
Cross-company training standards and standardized examination requirements act as the guarantor of training quality in Germany and encourage lifelong learning.
Our role as chambers of industry and commerce is to check whether companies are suitable providers of training and to monitor training. We also keep an eye on quality and organize the examinations.
Ongoing research into labor market development and VET enables vocational training to be adapted on a continuous basis to reflect the technical, economic, and social developments which are taking place. Teachers and in-company trainers have dual roles as educators and skilled workers. Vocational training staff who have undergone the necessary technical and pedagogical training ensure the ongoing adaptation of vocational competences and safeguard the high quality of teaching and learning processes.
What sets us apart is the great training team we have, consisting of a large number of people whose chosen profession is to support young people entering the world of work. The level of respect between the trainees and trainers is mutual, and a wonderful atmosphere of harmony prevails.
We pursue technical continuing training, but also undertake didactic and methodological training.
And this is why I take part in continuing training measures 2 to 3 times a year. At the end of the day, the trainee is the one who really wins.
In recent years, the Federal Institute for Vocational Education and Training has worked together with its social partners and reached agreement with representatives of the federal government and federal states on the development of 40 new occupations and the modernization of more than
We perceive that there are two major challenges: demographic change and the structural shifts within trade and industry. We need to prepare our skilled workers to meet these challenges, and this means that as many young people as possible need to be provided with solid vocational training. We need to make sure that continuing training is accorded a high degree of importance within the context of lifelong learning by promoting lifelong learning. And thirdly, we need to retain the attractiveness of vocational training by improving and expanding the level of permeability to the higher education system.
Vocational training in Germany takes place at two venues: at vocational schools and in the companies. Vocational training lasts for between 2 and 3.5 years. Training places are offered in trade and industry and in the public sector. Trainees are paid a training allowance by the company providing the training. Cooperative training offered by groups of companies also provides a structure through which small and medium-sized enterprises are able to offer comprehensive vocational training. Binding training regulations ensure that a uniform national standard meeting the training requirements of the respective occupations is in place. A high degree of personal and technical aptitude on the part of trainers and teachers guarantees the quality of training.
I am fascinated by the same things which interest the trainees, the multifaceted nature of the work, and I'm also particularly fascinated by the young people themselves. They keep me young. We try to maintain close contact with both the trainee and the school. This enables us to identify any weaknesses at an early stage. Companies or construction sites cannot provide every element of training content. What remains is practiced and learned at school or in an intercompany way via the Chamber of Industry and Commerce.
The vocational school is a public learning venue within the dual system where the focus is on providing basic vocational training and broadening trainees' general education. Although much is required of the trainees, those who succeed in completing their training will find themselves in demand on the labor market. Qualifications obtained within the German VET system also enjoy a high level of prestige internationally. Vocational training mainly targets 3 areas of competence. 1. Personal and social competence, including the ability to self-motivate, act as a team player, and make decisions. 2. Competence in dealing with machines, equipment, and work processes. 3. Problem-solving strategies and the capacity for abstract and logical thought. As an export-oriented nation, Germany has a strong interest in pursuing a form of vocational training which offers a European and international focus. For this reason, more and more German companies are sending their trainees abroad for part of their training in order to prepare them for the internationalized world of work and ensure that they are up to speed in terms of international employment requirements. The aim of the European qualifications framework is to make learning outcomes and competence acquired abroad transparent and measurable, and to use a system of credit points to make them transferable in European terms.
This is, of course, a matter for students nowadays, and I think that it is something which is also important to encourage apprentices to do. Just under 2% of all apprentices in Germany currently go abroad, and we need to build on this figure. The market is becoming more and more international, and if we don't start with the young people, then where are we going to start? When it comes to craft trades and art, it goes without saying that the spectrum in Italy is quite different to that in Germany.
There are different types of work, and there are different methods of working.
Dealing with these stones involves different technologies.
A skill can be acquired which would not be possible to learn as quickly in Germany.
Gearing German vocational training towards international requirements also, however, involves expanding international networks and strengthening the exchange of experiences with other countries.
It is all very well to write down quality as an aim, but the only way of achieving it is via well-trained people. This type of vocational training has not existed in Turkey up until now. We received a considerable level of support from BIDB in establishing the center, and this is something for which I would like to express my heartfelt thanks.
Working under the auspices of the Federal Ministry of Education and Research, BIB provides advisory services to a large number of partner countries in issues relating to the reform and modernization of their vocational education and training systems.
I would like to move into the field of hotel management or events management.
Have a workshop which only carries out exclusive maintenance. Get my master craftsman qualification.
Go on to higher education as a chemical laboratory technician.
Simply acquire new experiences.
Be offered a permanent job by my company.
That would be a dream. To climb as high as possible in the career ladder. The people we are training today represent the future of our branch. This means that when a company such as ours says that it wishes to operate on a global basis, we have the necessary local training in place to be able to do so. I also find practice and theory interesting.
In full view and behind the scenes.
This ranges from an inspection of learning how to fillet, tiling,
light titration,
physics and mathematical calculations,
airport check-ins, checking guests in and out,
reading the circuit diagrams, HR department. The final effect of that is that we are able to complete very high training qualifications. On the other hand, the teaching of so-called soft skills is becoming increasingly important. This is also termed as human competence. Work today takes place in teams. That the principle is that work is done together.
So that the departure of such a flight is processed in the correct manner.
To travel internationally.
I would like to travel the world.
We've had an exchange with Budapest in place for years.
I would love to go to the Caribbean.
Or to Canada. We can now send him out into the world. Working abroad is part of the everyday routine of an events technician. I've always fancied going to Sweden, Brazil in any event. I believe that this is an area where our trainees enjoy a genuinely competitive edge. All I can do is encourage you to try out training with the dual system. The experiences we have had in Germany have been very positive over many years, as have been our own experiences within the company. As in every situation, compromises need to be made, but I believe that this is a successful model.
The German Vocational Education and Training System stands for Public-Private Partnership, Professional Training, Work-Based Learning and Learning at School,
Something different every day,
Staff with Technical and Pedagogical Qualifications, Social Acceptance of National Training and Quality Standards, a solid research and development base and advisory services, transfer of know-how to other countries. Vocational education and training in Germany, assuring the future. To find out more, visit our homepages at www.bibb.de and www.bmbf.de.